Good evening. Today is Monday, October 9th, 2023. So I'm so glad you were able to join us this evening. We had a guest that was lined up, but they had a conflict. So I'm really going to encourage anyone that wants to dial in to look on the screen there and feel free to dial in. If you have any questions or comments or thoughts that you would like to share. But I thought I'd start out this evening with talking about some life principles. And hopefully, again, we'll have a chance to chat with a couple of you to hear your thoughts about them. But what this is trying to espouse is that often we struggle to speak up. We often compare ourselves to others, and we make a lot more excuses. And what we need to do is to flip that, to be focused when we do speak up on solutions, to not compare ourselves to others, and what we recognize that we are like no other person. Last but not least, is that we should make a declaration to have no more excuses. And that with the combination of recognizing the importance of solutions, so that we recognize we're a contrast like no other, and that we know we are working to not make more excuses, that pulling those three things together will make a world of difference in the world that we're in. And that often, if we bring these forth, it's going to change the game. It's going to change what we are dialoguing about when we're focused on a solution, when we're focused on not what someone else is doing or trying to be better than somebody else, that we're recognizing that we are built with some unique qualities that are just given to us. And again, that we're not interested in making excuses. We're focused, again, on solutions. So again, I think if we apply these things, we'll have different outcomes and better outcomes that are making our lives and the lives of others better. So again, I wanted to share that with you to give you something to think about as you approach circumstances. Again, that we focus on solutions, no comparisons, and no more excuses. Something else I want to just remind ourselves is that our focus on this show is about utilizing the 4 M's, which are things that we want to keep in motion simultaneously, that we want to pull together the importance of mapping and knowing where we're going, mental wellness, knowing that we are okay, mediation, an opportunity to consider alternatives, and mentoring, that we are focused on who has our back, and also supporting other people and making sure they feel that others have their back as well. But often when you're looking at situations and you want to determine, what went wrong, you'll find that these are components of what went wrong. But also when you're looking at situations as to what went right, these are also the same things. So a person who has some challenges, often it is because of a mapping. It's because of some aspects of mental wellness, because of some aspects of mediation and considering alternatives, and then also some aspects of mentoring. But again, if you look at a person who's doing well and achieving often the things that they like to see be achieved in their life, again, it's because they're mapping their mental wellness, their mediation, and their mentoring. And I think often we feel that we have to do something different when we're trying to address the problem. or something different as we're trying to implement a solution. But I'd like to share with you and to posit that they're one and the same, that the problem is the solution. And working for this, using this as a solution, it's going to avoid lots of the problems that we see and experience. As we look at the current events and the situations that are going on all around us, again, you can see these ingredients being in place and causing for a lot of those things to come to fruition. But again, if we want to fix it, the problem is the solution. So I wanted just to reminder to share that with you. And then again, we've talked often about the whole person and the 8 different aspects of the whole person. And these are not in any priority order. They are equally important to each other, and they call upon and really ask that the other components are there in order to make a person. If you're, let's say you have your finances in order, well, your personal development and your spirituality and your health and your education and your recreation, your family and friends is also something that's really important to be present for in your life. So it's not just good to have one of these. Again, it's wonderful to have tremendous great health. But again, if you have great health and you don't have your family and friends, you don't have an opportunity to recreate, you're not personally developing. So it may be an opportunity that is, being wasted. So again, just remind ourselves when we're making decisions or planning things, we want to try to make sure we're satisfying all the dimensions of ourselves as a person and are not just selling ourselves short and having situational success instead of whole person success. Often we in society tend to celebrate people who are experiencing situational success and give them great status in our time and our talents and our treasures. And in reality, they're a fraction of the person that they really could be if they were working real hard to bring these other components along. So please keep that in mind as well, that we are, again, a complete person with different aspects that we are challenged to bring to fruition. So I see we have a couple of people that have called in, and so I see Mr. Flowers has joined in, so I'll ask him to join our conversation here today. So Mr. Flowers, I don't know if you can see the screen. Well, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Dr. Williams?
Very good, thanks. So I don't know if you can see the whole person on the screen there. I think it's something we've shared before, but I'll make it a little bit more pronounced so you may be able to see it a little bit better. But any thoughts you want to share about the whole person and the different parts of a person's life, any balance that you've been able to achieve in those areas, but any thoughts you want to share about the whole person?
Just realizing that like they're all connected, like they're all interconnected. It kind of is the thing that sticks out to me because you could focus on any one of them, but if you neglect one of the other areas, then like you won't be balanced out, and you always feel like you're missing something. So whenever you do something, you have to consider how it's going to affect another area of your life, like your finances. If you start working more or start working less, or if you're not working.
I think we lost Ricky there, so hopefully he'll come on back. So we'll hope he'll come on back and share his thoughts there. Here you go. I see you back. Okay, sorry again, Ricky.
Just that they're all interconnected, and how like if you have a problem in your life, you can kind of just pinpoint it versus having a question mark on what's going wrong in your life. Mm-hmm. It's one of those areas.
Good. One of the other things we talked about, Ricky, was the 4 M's, and realizing how these four things are important, that you have a map, you have mental wellness, you're able to seek out and utilize mediation, and that you have mentors. So in your own life, Ricky, what role, if any, have you seen these four things play in a positive way and also sometimes in a challenging way?
I could definitely see these four things playing in my life in a challenging way. Mapping, where are you going is a constant question that you ask yourself, and sometimes you don't know where you're going, and sometimes you think you know, but once you have an idea of what you want, you can figure out which direction you want to go. So that has been a big part of my life.
Mm,
Mental wellness, just making sure you're in the right mindset. Because if you're not in the right mindset, where you want to go might be different than if you are in the right mindset. So,
mm,
um, you know, looking at your map with the right mind could change your direction.
mm,
Mediation, that's probably the one that is kind of new to me because I've always wanted to do things a certain way, from my experience, from things I was taught, but I haven't considered so many things like in that library of the unknown.
right.
There's so many things that you don't know. So how could you consider it? You don't even have the information. So I'm just learning so much more than I already do.
Mhm,
Mentoring, just finding people that are doing what I want to do or have the qualities of a person I want to be, and just kind of following their example and looking up to them and trying to copy some of their moves.
mhm. And one of the books I wrote a while back was titled "The Affordability Factor," which is really asking people to think about the people, places, and things with what you want to accomplish. Can those people, places, and things afford to see you accomplish them? And so, Ricky, when you look at yourself and you look at it through the lens of affordability, with the things that you want to see happen, do you think you've placed yourself in a situation where those aspirations are affordable by you and for you with the people, places, and things that are around you?
Um, I would say yes. It's a process. Kind of like slowly letting go of like a person that you were to a person that you want to be. It's you can't really afford. I hope I get the concept right, but like certain things in my life that I can't afford to do them anymore.
Mhm.
If I want to go where I want to go, I can't hold on to certain things for certain people. I can't hang in certain places because it's not. It doesn't line up with where I want to go. So
So
um,
I think part of that is people understand there's some things that you have to say goodbye to, but I
yeah,
think at the same time there's some things you have to say hello to. How do you get yourself ready to say hello? You can only do what you know, and if you knew it, you'd probably already be doing it. And
exactly.
so, it's probably going to be a new person, a new place, or a new thing, or a combination of those three things that are going to be the things that change your life. So, how do you help yourself be open to newness?
Um, I, I I take every day as if it's a new beginning because a lot of times we're just living either in the past or the future in our minds. We're holding on to like friendships and relationships and places we used to go and things that we enjoy. That we don't even give ourselves a chance to say hello to that thing that's right in front of your face. So what I do is I just take every day like it's a new day, a new beginning, and I let go and make space for new things by not visiting those old addresses, so to speak. And it kind of lets them know that you're letting go. Like you can't visit them every day. So
Sure. So, Ricky, as an example, I don't know the answer to this question, so I'll ask it. But have you ever played golf?
putt, chip and putt, miniature golf.
Have you ever gone on a golf course and done the 18 holes
No.
and not too long ago, my family and I lived on a golf course, and we were at the 17th hole, and we lived there for 7 years,
Mm.
and I never played golf. I've never played golf in 58 years. So what I'm asking you to do is to be a better person than I, who has it right in front of them. And that's something new that could be different. And, a lot of people use the golf course for networking. They meet people, have conversations, make deals, still to this day. But if we never, sometimes we're right there. It's like, I could walk out and, my biggest problem with the golfers were they love to urinate in the trees. And my children and wife could see them. So that was I was going to have the golf course closed down because of their behavior. But again, I never took advantage of the opportunity to go out there and to play. So that's an example of a new thing. A friend may come up to you and say, "Hey, Ricky, rather than just putting around here, let's go and do 9 holes and just try it out and see what happens." And you just never know. I mean, a lot of those golf clubs have restaurants, and you can go and get a meal, and so that's an example, Ricky, of something new that we may not want to try. And again, be better than I. It was right in front of my face, and
Yeah.
and honestly, I did go to the club to get a meal, but I never I never played any golf, and I probably needed less of the meal and more of the walking around and socializing than I took advantage of. But again, I can just think of a lot, and it just going down as we were just talking. Let me just put it back up here, Ricky. When you look at someone offering you an opportunity in any of these areas, so that's a recreation, a new opportunity. Someone may say to you, Ricky, let's go to a dissertation that someone's giving who's going for their doctorate, and your thing may be like, "What? I'm just trying to get my associates and my bachelor's." But again, that may be something new just to watch, because a lot of times when you see some of these academic hurdles, you realize it's not as hard as you thought it was. It's actually something. And I went to a dissertation years ago. It was like a love fest. They were sitting around just congratulating each other, and it wasn't as tough as I thought it was going to be. There were some tough questions, but really they were trying to provoke the person to think about after they've completed their research, what was going to happen after that. But again, that's an example of a new situation that someone may offer to you in education that you may not think of. And someone may say, Ricky, I could see you as a professor one day. And you're like, no, I have this. But again, that's an example of something new that you may not have wanted to consider educationally, but I know an adjunct can, do as many or as few classes as they're able to get. So you just may teach one class a year. But again, you may not at this particular point see yourself as an adjunct or a full professor. But that's just an example. And then also, environment, someone may say, hey, let's, go to this, this place that we may not have thought about going because it's not part of our culture. But that may be a good, expansion of trying something, a different kind of environment to give it a chance. So I would just encourage you, Ricky, with the kinds of things that you may want to accomplish, just be open to some new things that may just be presented that may not look like a slam dunk on the surface. But yeah, but go ahead, Ricky. It seems like you want to say something. So,
No, I was trying to say like that's I can relate to that. Like sometimes you don't have to consider something until you see somebody else do it, and then you start thinking maybe I could do that.
Right. And I believe very firmly, Ricky, that we're seeing that for a reason. I think everything we experience, there's a reason why our eyes and ears and other senses are experiencing that. It's not just an accident. That there's a reason why we're seeing the good, things and also the challenging things, is because I think it's important for us to be aware of certain things, and I think we're being trusted to experience that and to not keep it a secret and be silent about it and to share it. So sometimes it's for us directly, but sometimes it's for people that are connected to us directly, for us to share what we saw and what we experienced. So I think often people get overwhelmed with what they see, But reality is, I believe very, very firmly that you're seeing it because there's something you can do with it, and sometimes it's just to pass on what you saw. Um, but again, being open to the new opportunities and really inviting them and encouraging them to to come your way. Ricky, as we get ready to wrap up for tonight, any other thoughts or comments or questions or things that you want to chat about?
Just that first slide that you brought up, it was about that is instead of not speaking up to find solutions and not compare yourself to others, no more excuses. That I like that slide a lot, just because a lot of times we live in a society where it's everybody's comparing everything to everything, and oftentimes you forget how unique you truly are. And yeah, so just that part.
And I think, Ricky, the reality is that you know the most important word I believe in the English language is the word "and." So what this is asking us to do is we got to solution up. We got to be a contrast like no other, and then no more excuses. And it's all of these three things that we got to bring together. If we're really going to make a difference in this world that we're in, that it's not one thing we're going to do. Because it's important that we do solution up. But again, we got to understand that we got to present it in the way that, that represents Ricky and what Ricky, would say. And it's not just good to have a solution, but I think your personality will bring something to it as well. And as you are bringing it forth, you're not making any more excuses, that you're rising to the occasion. You're not just sitting here to point fingers, but you want to point forward. And there's a big difference when you're pointing fingers and when you're pointing forward. And so I think, again, recognizing success requires a lot of work. And it's not just one thing that you do. It's just not showing up. You got to, show up and show out and show people how to move forward. That's part of what success requires. It's just not showing up. And I guess, I wish that we would have, learned this earlier, the amount of work that it takes to keep it all going. It's a full-time job with a mandatory overtime in order to be successful and no days off. So that's a lot of work there.
I heard someone say the magic that you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding.
Exactly. Yeah. And often it's the work that we pay others to do that often is part of the challenge as well, because sometimes, there are certain things we could use help with, but a lot of times we're offloading, the heavy lifting that needs to be done. And it's something we should be part of. Again, just recognizing that no one's going to be you. So a lot of times we see the consequences of when we offload responsibilities to other people, and they really were ours. And I was talking to someone who was a single parent, and recognizing that sometimes that's the situation we're in, and we have to make the best of it. But we need to realize it really is a two-person job, and we're going to often fight as best we can. But we do need to recognize, sometimes we're trying to do something that just is logistically a challenge. But I also think it gives us, as other members of the community, when we see someone who has taken on a two-person job and we have a little bit of capacity to help out, we should do what we can just to, say, hey, we're going out to the movies, or hey, I, ordered a pizza, and I ordered a second one for you, so you don't have to worry about dinner tonight. So there's other things we can do, but I think it's important for us to, to recognize that sometimes, life gives us circumstances that are hard, for us to manage. But I think others who are a little bit more fortunate than us can help out and make a world of difference. And as we get ready to go into winter, it really breaks my heart when I see an older person out there in a very cold weather trying to shovel snow, and then they're on a block full of other people who are a little bit more able-bodied than they. And so again, it's the stuff we can do to make it a better situation. We should really try hard to do that. All right. So, Ricky, anything else you want to share before we wrap up for tonight?
No, thank you for having me on tonight.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Take care.
Sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up our show for tonight, and hopefully the information that you heard and that Mr. Flowers was able to share as well with some of his questions and thoughts and comments have been helpful. We'll be back this time next week at the same time. So until then, take care.